You see it all the time. People who smoke cigarettes say that vapes are worse, and the people who vape say that cigarettes are worse. But who is actually right?
Charlene Zorn from Wilmington, North Carolina is warning others about vaping after her stepson Solomon Wynn died in June of this year.
Immediately looked at the x-rays and said to Solomon, "You've been vaping, don't lie."
New warning suggesting a potential link between teen vaping and e-cigarette use to severe lung disease.
There's a lot of chemicals within these e-cigarettes that people are inhaling, and a lot of chemicals that we don't know what they do.
Teens are reportedly using vaping devices in record numbers. The U.S. Surgeon General has called e-cigarette use among youth an epidemic. And now Tristan, a 17-year-old from Texas, is warning other teens by sharing what happened to him.
It's an unnerving scene. The body of a teen spasming in a coughing fit on a ventilator just to breathe.
It just progressively got worse extremely fast.
17-year-old Tristan Zofield was taken to Cook Children's Hospital in Fort Worth, Texas, with blockage in his lungs.
Well, today we will find out, and the results may shock you. The history of cigarettes was said to have originated back in the 9th century in Mexico and Central America. They smoked tobacco and other psychoactive drugs in religious rituals. Later, in the 19th century, it was commercialized because people were getting very addicted to it. It was thought to be a healing substance, but in fact, it did the complete opposite.
You know, if you were to follow a busy doctor as he makes his daily round of calls, you'd find yourself having a mighty busy time keeping up with him. Time out for many men of medicine usually means just long enough to enjoy a cigarette. And because they know what a pleasure it is to smoke a mild, good-tasting cigarette, they're particular about the brand they choose.
Now let's take a look as to what exactly is in a cigarette. You see, whenever someone smokes, they're consuming acetone, which is found in nail polish removers, acetic acid, an ingredient in hair dye, ammonia, a common household cleaner, arsenic, which is used in rat poison, benzene, found in rubber cement and gasoline, butane, used in lighter fluid, cadmium, an active component in battery acid, carbon monoxide, which is released in car exhaust fumes, formaldehyde, which is embalming fluid, hexamine, which is found in barbecue lighter fluid. You can also find lead, which is used in batteries, naphthalene, which is used in mothballs, and you can also find methanol, which is used in rocket fuel. Also, let us not forget about tar, which is also used to create paved roads, and toluene, which is a component in paint. And let's not forget nicotine, which is also used as an insecticide, and that's one of the main reasons why people are addicted to cigarettes. I guess now you can have a better understanding as to why cigarettes are so bad. Now let's take a look at the components found in vapes. The modern e-cigarette was invented in 2003 by the Chinese pharmacist Han Lick. But Herbert A. Gilbert was known to be the first person who came up with the idea of electronic cigarettes. Herbert's design was, however, rejected at that time until today. But some tobacco companies were still changing from the typical cigarette model due to the bad press on their cigarettes, being torches of death. And you may be surprised that vapes aren't as good compared to cigarettes as they have been made out to be.
We let the mice vape for a little more than 1 year, and for sure they developed lung cancer and developed the pre-cancer the change in blood tissue. We found that nicotine per se actually causes DNA damage, and we found that e-cigarette vaping also causes damage in mice, in lung, heart, and bladder.
In vapes, you may find nicotine, which is a highly addictive substance that negatively affects adolescent brain development, and that's also a component that's found in cigarettes as well. You can find propylene glycol, which is a common additive in food, and also used to make things like antifreeze, paint solvent, and artificial smoke in fog machines. Numerous carcinogens can also be found in vapes, including acetaldehyde and formaldehyde. You can also find acrolein, a herbicide primarily used to kill weeds. You can also find diacetyl, a chemical linked to a lung disease called bronchiolitis obliterans, aka popcorn lungs. There is also diethylene glycol, a toxic chemical used in antifreeze that is linked to lung disease. Some vapes also contain heavy metals like nickel, tin, and lead. You may also find cadmium, which is a very toxic metal. Some vapes even include benzene, which is a very toxic chemical that is found in car exhausts. And of course, let's not forget that there are a bunch of ultra small particles found in vapes as well that can also damage the lungs. Alright guys, well now you should have a clear understanding as to the chemicals that are found in both vapes and cigarettes. But before I talk about the harmful effects, I do want to explain quickly on the main functions of the lungs. Now the main function of the lungs is for gas exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Air enters the nose or mouth, then it goes down to the trachea, which then branches off into two bronchi. And the bronchi divides further into multiple smaller tubes called bronchioles. And at the end of the bronchioles are air sacs called alveoli, where gas is exchanged from small capillaries lining the alveoli. Okay, so now I believe it's time we take a look at a healthy lung, and the lungs of a person who vapes, and the lungs of a smoker.
Take a look at these two sets of lungs. This set is pink and healthy. They represent the lungs of a healthy person. But this set doesn't look so great. They represent the lungs of someone who has smoked a pack of cigarettes, that's 20 cigarettes, every day for 20 years.
Now that was a very scary video that shows the real harmful effects of what a smoking can do to the lungs. Now here is another video by a YouTube channel called Chris No Tap. He did an experiment checking out a smoker's lung compared to a vapor's lung. So take a look. Two lungs were simulated. One was inhaling smoke and the other was inhaling vape. As you can see, with just a month of smoking, there was a huge build-up of tar on the cotton balls and glass, which represents the lungs, and in the airways there were huge tar deposits. Whereas with the vaping lungs, there were minimal airway changes, especially compared to that of the smoker's lungs. It is clear, and it has been proven, that cigarettes cause way more visual changes to the lungs as compared to vapes. And of course, cigarettes also contain way more harmful substances as compared to vapes. But the thing is, people vape way more often than they smoke, which was what actually causes the problem and puts everything into question. Because vapes still do contain harmful substances. So because of the frequency of use, vaping can actually cause more damage depending on how often you vape. But in general, cigarettes are more harmful. But guys, health is wealth. Do not get involved with such things like vaping and smoking. The only thing that should be entering your lungs is air. Do not risk the chance of developing serious conditions like COPD, lung cancer, coronary heart disease, and many more, just because you want to look cool or because someone else is doing it. It's not worth it. You're paying to die. Well, that's the end of the video. I do hope you found some value from this video, and if you know someone who smokes or vape, then send this video to them. It could actually save their lives. Anyway, I do have another video talking about breakfast and the history of breakfast, and in that video there are some facts in there that may actually shock you, so check that out here. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.